Okay, well, it seems that a lot of people like to see the videos on me using actual Hubble harmonic balancer more than a lot of the other stuff that I do. But this is in response to, I guess, the idea of how you, or first assessing when to actually do track splitting, and then following up on that, how to actually go about it. I have actually, I think I've done a preliminary case of that, but nothing major. But this is a follow-on. This has been brought about by, I guess, my Christmas purchase of new CDs of a band that I was unfamiliar with. Well, actually, the CD I'm going to be talking about is actually an offshoot of the band, but the band that I was introduced to recently via Spotify recommendation of all things was a German band by the name of Sylvan, and they've got quite a lot of sort of prog type, progressive rock type music. And a lot of their production work is really good. One in particular that I listened to first was this one, Sylvan Home. It's an exceptionally well recorded CD. I don't have any issues with it whatsoever. But a latest project that they had, which is not the full band, but just a couple of members of the band in a offshoot group called Violent Jasper, is an album they just released called Control, which is basically this one. Musically, again, it's strong material. It sort of reminds me of the way it's actually structured. It reminds me of a, I guess you would call like a musical production, as in stage musical, but without the visuals. It's, but yeah, it's very strong, but in terms of production quality, in terms of the sound quality, it has issues for me. Because it just doesn't have the consistency that the home album, for example, has. And it seems most of the issue, well, there's some instrumentation issues there, but most of the issues appear to be to do with the quality of the vocal recording, lead vocal recording principally, varying from take to take. So there's inconsistencies across multiple takes. And because of the structure of the music, the type of music, it's structurally complex music. You can imagine that it's been recorded in, like, a given track is made up of many takes, all put together. And obviously the difficulty there is making consistent sounding takes between sessions, and what they've failed to achieve in their final mix is that consistency between takes. So there's a considerable variation in the quality of the vocal throughout the track, and when it's bad, it suffers quite a bit from masking, and when it's good, it's excellent, and that variation just peeves me off, basically. So the example track that I'm going to illustrate this with is the second track, titled Breathe, sung by a female vocalist. Actually, I can't remember her name offhand. It says Caroline von Brücken, if I pronounced it correctly. My German, I don't speak German, so I have no idea if I pronounced that correctly or not. Sorry if I didn't. So let's have a look at this track, and I'll illustrate or try and point out while it's playing what my issues are. Here we go from the beginning. Just a general observation, you can see that spectrum balance looks pretty much perfect. So if you listen there, it's nice. Slowly going down, losing all control. A nice full-bodied vocal there. Feel so numb, closing by the walls. Sinking deeper, running out of air. Is it good if I let it go? Giving in, maybe lose it all. So notice now the lead vocal's gone brittle. And I think that kick bass drum is too prominent. Now the vocal is sounding more full-bodied again. A nice full-bodied vocal still. Taking me softly in, lullaby of madness, slightly o'clock. I close my eyes, floating to the edge. So now you'll notice the vocal's brittle, but it's not as brittle as the first verse. Slightly better quality. See, that's a bit more wooden. That sounds quite good in comparison to back to a full-bodied sound. Raising my voice, but there's no sound, no nothing's coming out my mouth. Breathe, just like a warm again, nice full-bodied sound. Taking me softly, can't get out. In too deep, help me out. Nice and full-bodied again. Into the just like a warm and this is the best vocal recording within this particular track. It works best in this part, I reckon. Back to the shore, back to the even there where she's singing with great power, it has really good balance. So there you can see there's a lot of variation going on there, and that basically is what destroys the track quality for me. It's the variation in that, principally the variation in that, excuse me, lead vocal part that changes throughout the track. There's probably some minor issues with balance with the rest of the instruments throughout the track, but it's mostly the vocal that's the issue. So there, if you listen to something like that, again, like if you look at the average spectrum of the track as a whole, it looks perfectly balanced, but obviously from what I've just pointed out, it isn't when you break it up into its various structural components of the track, and that is where track splitting is basically necessary. Like ideally, what should have happened is during the recording process, the tracking process, that when they actually had these multiple vocal takes, they'd spent considerably more effort actually bringing consistency in equalisation and level between the various vocal parts so that they're all consistent within the scope of the entire track, which is, well, I assume they must have done it to some extent, but obviously not to the extent that I would have liked, because it just doesn't have that consistency. So what do you do now? Well, basically what you do now is you just break it up into structural components. And by that I mean you actually listen to where the thematic parts of or thematic changes in the track actually occur, and that's where you want to put in your split points. So for instance, I start with this. Obviously the opening bit's fine. Actually, probably want to put one right there where the vocal comes in at the beginning of the bar. So that would be there. So there's the location for the next one. It's just here. There's a thematic change there, so I probably won't put one there. There's a major change there.
Sense of time, voices inside, calling out, don't you worry, come and stay just for a while, calling so sweet, waters run deep, maybe I take a dive deeper now.
There's the next one, right there.
just like a warming melody, taking me softly in, lullaby of madness. Slightly a clock ticks in despair. You're out of air.
So probably don't need to split that because it's pretty consistent.
Close my eyes, floating to the edge. Close my eyes, floating to the edge. Tearing up 'cause I'm scared to death. I'm not sure if I trust it all. Doesn't matter how I touch the ground. Feel somebody's grip. It ain't my fingertips. Panic fills my side. Lost track of time. Agony rises, raising, wanna float above it all. In despair, you're out of air.
I'll probably put one in here just so I can see how the balance changes, because it's quite different because it doesn't have the vocal part in there.
Into the can. Into the can't get out.
I'll probably include the bass bit there that leads into the vocal there, actually, I think.
Just like a warming melody, just like a warming melody, taking me softly in, lullaby of madness.
I don't think I need to split this one at all because I think that's, as you can see, very well balanced. No issues there whatsoever. And now, if you look through, you can see, oh look, you've got a hole here, you've got this brittleness up here. Again, some brittleness there, and it looks, I guess if you look there, you can see it's exaggerating the mid-range there. Put it in third octave view. See the wood for the trees. Right, there you go. Again, bit of a hole here and brittleness there. Looking a lot better there, but maybe a bit bright up here. Not sure what the content is, I can't remember. Looking uniform there. Nice balance there. Pretty nice balance there. Nice balance there. Nice balance there. And I guess we missed the opening one. That's got a nice balance there. And a relatively nice balance there. So yes, you can see when you split it up, you can see where the problems are. And that's the whole point of doing it. So then it's from there on a case of working on those issues. I'll just save this filter to make sure I don't lose my track splits in case something goes wrong. My software's not perfect, fails from time to time. So I guess what we can start with is the first one. So again, I want to things a bit more uniform. Probably don't want to exaggerate that too much. Probably don't want to attenuate that too much, but this hole is definitely an issue here. Something that needs to be contended with. Now, because of this, yeah, maybe that's the reason why they couldn't actually deal with it, is because it looks like it's dynamic issues, basically in the vocal, that's causing the problem. So might be a time to pull out some peak taming here. Control that. Probably take a lot out of this one because you'll note that the average level is very low. Like they've used some static equalization to try and cure that problem. Yeah, so I should probably bring that average back up. Okay. Oops. Yep. Let's just have a quick squeeze, see what we're getting toward. Starting to look quite a bit different. Raise the level of those a bit based on the peak spectrum. Yeah. Change that slightly. I don't want to take the entire power of her voice out there, so I don't want to take all the dynamics out. I'm a bit concerned that I might be overdoing things in places, so I guess if you look at the space between average and peak there, we've got an issue. And take more out of that. bit weird. Get rid of that a bit. So, yeah. Wondering whether I should smooth out the average there and take the peak out with peak tame in there. I can give that a go. So we'll see if it makes any difference. I'm sure it's going to make a substantial difference, but we'll just see what it sounds like now.
Is it good if I let it go? Giving in, maybe lose it all. For a day it will hurt my soul. And maybe soaking up all the emptiness. But suddenly I can feel how I lose my breath.
I think this can actually be taken down a bit here. Yeah, I'll probably do them separately. That's a bit brittle. And I think I can do with a little bit more top end. But yeah, I think what I'll do, hang on, use my, that's what I want to do. Before I do that, what I shall do, I'll use this. I thought this was the best sounding part, so I'll use that as a reference to get my head around what the typical balance is like. Now the visuals are getting a bit busy there, so the red you see is my reference, and there you can see, if you look at that, it's looking a bit bold here compared to our reference. Let's get it. I'm probably a bit weak there. And something like that. So try that again.
Is it good if I let it go? Giving in, maybe lose it all. For a day it will hurt my soul. And maybe soaking up all the emptiness. But suddenly I can feel how I lose my breath. There is getting tight, and I can see no light. Am I still alive? Giving in, maybe lose it all. For a day it will hurt my soul.
I think I probably may have taken too much of that mid-range out. upper mid-range, that is. I'm going to put some of that back. Definitely moving in the right direction. I basically think I probably need more of these lower harmonics to voice. They need to be bolder, I'm guessing. Okay, we move on to the next one. Actually, I might want to go back to that previous section because I want to experiment with putting back some of that peak taming because I think I may have overdone it. But I'll just deal with this first. That's looking pretty uniform. It's the question of should that be a bit flatter? And do I need some peak taming? Yeah. It is how much do I want to apply? I don't think I want to do too much.
sense of time.
Yeah, that sounds pretty reasonable. Just want to double check this.
Is it good if I let it go? Giving in, maybe lose it all.
Yeah, I think I may have just taken a little bit too much out of that. Don't want to completely sap it of it. The emotional aspect of that.
Is it good if I let it go? Giving in, maybe lose it all. For a day it will hurt my soul. And maybe soaking up all the emptiness. But suddenly I can feel how I lose my breath. Air is getting tight, and I can see no light. Am I still alive? The emptiness, but suddenly I can feel how I lose my breath. Air is getting tight, and I can see no light. Am I still alive? No sense of time, voices inside.
I think I just might want to brighten this up slightly.
Is it good? Am I still alive?
Yeah, I'm satisfied with that, but now I've got to satisfy myself between these two. Yeah, actually, change the focus to that.
There is gas, but suddenly I can feel how I lose my breath. There is getting tight, and I can see no light. Am I still alive?
It's setting pretty close, but I think this might be an issue here. I'm going to bring up the averages here and see what happens.
Soaking up all the emptiness, but suddenly I can feel how I lose my breath. Air is getting tight, and I can see no light. Am I still alive? No sense of time.
Yes, I think that's improved it considerably. Might even bring up the averages there as well. And bring down this peak, because I think that's a bit extreme. Try again.
Soaking up all the emptiness, but suddenly I can feel how I lose my breath. Air is getting tight, and I can see no light. Am I still alive?
Certainly the transition between the two is pretty seamless. You can barely hear any, well, I can't hear any discontinuity between those.
Soaking up all the emptiness, but suddenly I can feel how I lose my breath. Air is getting tight, and I can see sense of time, voices inside, calling out, don't you worry, come and stay just for a while, calling so sweet, waters run deep, maybe I'd take a dive deeper now. Breathe, just like a warming melody, taking me softly in, lullaby of time, voices inside, calling out, don't you worry, come and stay just for a while, calling so sweet, waters run deep, maybe I'd take a dive deeper now.
To peak time or not to peak time? I'm not sure if I want to touch that one, but I might just bring those averages up. Yep. Control it a little bit. Like something's going on upstairs. Ah, bugger. Right, try that.
No sense of time, voices inside, calling out, don't you worry, come and stay just for a while, calling so sweet, waters run deep, maybe I'd take a dive deeper now. Sense of time, voices inside, calling out, don't you worry.
Let's just try something. Oops.
No sense of time, voices inside, calling out, don't you worry, come and stay just for a while, calling so sweet, waters run deep, maybe I'd take a dive deeper now. No sense of time, voices inside, calling out, don't you worry, come and stay just for a while, calling so sweet, waters run deep, maybe I'd take a dive deeper now.
Okay, the next thing I want to check with this.
No sense of time, voices inside, calling out, don't you worry.
Wonderful. So where are we up to? Okay, I think this was where we were up to. Just check. Yes, where are we up? I don't know if I need to do anything with that. I can just mess around with a few minor tweaks, but I don't think it's going to make much of a difference in terms of what you hear. It'll be pretty much the same because it's fairly sparse, so you won't notice much difference.
Just like a warming melody, taking me softly in, lullaby of madness. Slightly a clock ticks in despair. You're out of softly in, lullaby of madness. Slightly a clock ticks in despair. You're out of air. Breathe, just like a warming melody, taking me softly in, lullaby of madness. Slightly a clock to
Rightio.
close my eyes, floating to the edge.
Back to this. Okay. Hmm. Yes, I'm going to adjust the average up here. It looks like they've used static equalization to try and control that vocal. Oops. Losing control of my mouse. So, definitely need some peak taming here. A little bit of that. And that would need quite a lot by the looks. Oh, all right. Well, probably wasn't all bad. I think I overdid that. A little bit here. And I probably want to put one in here. Maybe this one here. And I'd say that's pretty much it. I'll do that as well.
Close my eyes, floating to the edge, tearing up 'cause I'm scared to death. I'm not sure if I trust it all, or a sudden. It doesn't matter how I turn around my feet.
So the other thing we can do, now that this is pretty much the same as that, we want to match the general shape of the average to make it consistent. Pretty much the same music. And that looks pretty much it.
Close my eyes, floating to the edge, tearing up 'cause I'm scared to death. Maybe lose it all, for a day it will hurt my soul.
So that works. Again, I'm getting paranoid. I'm going to save this. Right, here we go. Turn my reference off. I think bring that up. I'm going to adjust the average here. Make it consistent. And then peak time is, again, like I said, this has most likely been treated with some form of static equalization. Try and tame that harsh vocal. Okay. So again, peak taming here to there. And right. I think I never did that. Okay. And undid that. That's looking pretty uniform. Maybe just one here. And what does that sound like? Sounds okay. And what I want to do now, again, got a matching part. Compare them. The average is the same. Okay, so get rid of that. I want to get rid of my original spectrum, cluttering the view. So bring this down a bit and up a bit and up a bit. Looking pretty similar. Might just ease on that a little bit.
Lost track of time, agony rises, raising my voice, but there's no sound, no nothing's coming out my mouth. Water so deep, comforting me, but what if I wanna float above it all? Breathe, just like a warming melody, taking lost track of time, agony rises, raising my voice, but there's no sound, no nothing's coming out my mouth. Water so deep, comforting me, but what if I wanna float above it all? Agony rises, raising my voice, but there's no sound, no nothing's coming out my mouth. Water so deep, comforting me, but what if I wanna float above it all? Breathe, just like a now, don't you worry, come and stay just for a while. Calling so sweet in my voice, but there's no sound, no nothing's coming out my mouth.
I think I prefer the sound of this one, so I'll use that as a reference to match with that. In a third. Sorry.
No sense of time, voices inside, calling out, don't you worry, come and stay just for a while. Calling so sweet, waters run deep, maybe I take a dive deeper inside, calling
think I can take a bit more out of this. Oh. Oh, yeah, I haven't got the original spectrum on that. Can't see it.
No sense of time, voices inside calling out, don't you worry, come and stay just for a while. Calling so sweet, waters run deep. Maybe I take a dive. Calling so sweet, waters run deep. Maybe I take a dive deeper. Calling out, don't you worry, come and stay just for a while. Calling so sweet.
Oh, actually, I should probably have one there as well. Hang on. Why is... Oh, yeah, fair enough. I should have an extra one here, because when this peak is going... Oh, actually, I can probably just do this rather than... Should probably fix it.
No sense of time, voices inside calling out, don't you worry, come and stay just for a while. Calling so sweet.
That sounds fine. So where am I up to now? I haven't done that. I did. I haven't done that. I was up to there. Oh, sorry, I can't tell. I haven't got that on. Thought I did that. Yes, I've done that. Haven't done anything to this. Does it need anything? Not much. It looks pretty reasonable. Very reasonable. Probably all I'd do. Something along those lines.
Breathe, just like a warming melody, taking me softly in, lullaby of madness. Slightly your clock ticks in despair. You're out of air. Warming melody, taking me softly in, lullaby of madness. Slightly your clock ticks in despair. You're out of air.
Might just adjust it to the average.
Breathe, just like a warming melody, taking me softly in, lullaby of madness. Slightly your clock ticks in despair. You're out of air.
Okay. It looks all right. Again, we can reference that. Sure, I did the same with the other one. Get a similar balance. Oops.
just like a warm breathe, just like a warming melody. Take just like a warming melody, taking me softly in, lullaby of madness. Slightly a clock ticks in despair. You're out of air. Back to the shore, back to the surface, back to the light of day breakaway. Oh, I need to breathe. Back to what's mine and back to my demons. I'm holding on to this life on the night. Oh, just let me breathe.
And that's it. That is the process. As you can see, it's more involved than just a static equalization across a single track, but it's much more consistent. Now, if I play those various vocal parts, they should sound a lot more similar to one another.
And maybe soaking up a lullaby of mine. Calling out, don't you or a sudden rises, raising love, waking me softly in.
There's probably one other aspect that I didn't mention that could come into play. Just have a look at something. Yes, okay. Notice the average level here. It's minus 15.75 dB. And then compare that to here, for instance, minus 17. Basically, part of the tonal difference between those two is the difference in level. So what was the difference there? It was about 2 dB, wasn't it? 15, if you look at the original levels anyway, that's minus 15.7. And minus 17.5, so maybe 1.5 dB. So if I add 1.5 dB in this section, how does it change the way it sounds? of course I'll need to do it for the following section as well, because that's quite, oh, that's interesting, because that's actually louder. I probably only want to add 1 dB there. Now that's 16.4 and it's 15.4. Is that right? Process level. Yeah, interesting. Well, I'll just want to see what that sounds like.
Is it good if I let it go? Giving in, maybe lose it all. For a day it will hurt my soul. Of the end, lullaby of man. Giving in, maybe lose it all.
It's closer in tonality now.
It will hurt my breath. There is getting tight, and I can see no light. Am I still alive? No sense of time. Voice.
I think this one needs to go up about 1 dB as well to now match that.
No sense of time. Voice.
Yeah. So that's basically what we need to do. We add 1.5 dB here. Next section, we add 1 dB. And following section, we add 1 dB.
Voices inside my mouth, water so high. If I trust it all, lullaby of man. There's no sound, no nothing's coming out. I'm not sure if I trust for a day life. Sorry, coming stages for a ride.
Notice how much more uniform the vocals now sound. And yeah, that last step that I did about adjusting levels up and down is a very important step. And that again is probably, well, it's a combination of two things. One, difficulty in getting consistent levels of various sections of tracks as they're actually put together, because they're put together over multiple days. So you got slight mismatch in level between one session and another. It's going to result in a tonal difference due to volume change, as in via Fletcher-Munson effect, so loudness effect. And the other possible mitigating circumstance, because this has been mastered, it may also be due to limiting as well. So limiting may be pulling that level down and distorting it, and I'm basically just restoring it. But yeah, that's basically the process. You can see it's quite involved. You're probably spending 4 times the amount of time that you'd, well, I guess it all depends on how many, how structurally complex the piece is. But yeah, you could be spending upwards of 4 times the amount of time, or maybe more, per track, but the results are well worth it. Yeah, they're transformational basically. And as you can see, again, if you look at it at a entire track view, the difference between pre and post my changes is minimal if I were to do this as static equalization. Just on the overall track, you're not going to see those benefits because the benefits or the major changes are within individual sections. Yeah. So that's why just dealing with a track in its entirety is potentially not enough if you've got non-stationarity in the balance of the track through the track. And that's, well, it's commonplace in cases where you have like structurally complicated material like this, particularly if it's been recorded piece by piece, piecemeal, section by section, because then you're dealing with integrating multiple recording sessions into a one track. A lot of the older recordings, even if it's structurally complicated, like for instance, say, I don't know, something by Genesis or something from the 70s or something, that's not necessarily a big deal. And I think the main reason for that is because of the way they recorded it, which is largely set up your recording studio, setting up your recording session, and then you basically do a live recording throughout. I think that's generally the way they recorded their music. I think they did the vocals as an overdub because they hadn't written the vocals prior to performing the music. So essentially the music gets done in one take, sort of, as in they're not messing around with mixing settings or whatever recording settings. They're all the same settings, so it's always the same. Whereas if you're doing session recording day to day and changing settings and changing microphones, changing studios, whatever, you're going to get problems arising. And that's when you'll need to actually treat them. Anyway, I think I've said enough for now.